Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. We're continuing our Big Ten football predictions today, and our next team, the Purdue Boilermakers. So Purdue hasn't been to a bowl game since 2012, and over the past 4 years, they've only won 9 football games. This year, they get Jeff Brom in at head coach. He's coming over from Western Kentucky, so they're really hoping he can change things. Last year, they went 3-9, so they're hoping he can immediately come in and make some improvements and improve on that 3-9 record, and hopefully get them back to a bowl game, like I said, for the first time since 2012. The key this season, I think, will be their quarterback play from David Blow. He had a very good season last year, put up some very good numbers. Only problem was his interception total. He threw 21 interceptions last year. So if he can cut down on that total, I think he's in for a very good year at Purdue. We'll have to wait and find out. But hopefully they can escape the bottom of this West Division in the Big Ten and maybe pull off a few upsets along the way in Brom's first year. But I could see this being a typical rebuilding year with the first-year head coach. If you go ahead and just look at the schedule without predicting anything, very tough non-conference slate. Louisville and Missouri, 2 Power 5 opponents there, and then Ohio, who is also a very dangerous MAC team. So things don't get easy. The 2 biggest competitors in the West, Wisconsin and Northwestern, are both on the road. So it's not looking very promising for Purdue, but let's see if they can improve on that 3-9 record. Open the season against Louisville and Lamar Jackson in Indianapolis. Petrino and Lamar Jackson are a very good combination there. I know Lamar Jackson can't carry Louisville to a victory by himself, but I know he's going to put up good numbers again. And I don't think Purdue, even though they have 8 returning starters on defense, are going to be able to shut him down in Indianapolis. It could be closer than some people expect. And I could see this game being very close, coming down to the wire, but I don't see Purdue pulling off the upset. And then Ohio, a team led by another good quarterback in Quentin Maxwell. He's only a sophomore, but Ohio could be MAC title contenders, could win the MAC championship, something that's eluded them in their history. But right now, I'm going to give Purdue the win over them. I think if they're coming off a close loss to Louisville and they figure out what their strengths and weaknesses are in that first game against a good opponent, they'll fix that and get the win over that MAC opponent. And then Missouri, another good quarterback they have to deal with in Drew Lock. Missouri also has 10 returning starters on offense, so they're going to have to watch out for that. And with it being on the road and with it being an SEC opponent, anytime you play an SEC opponent, you know it's going to be tough. And right now, I'm projecting a loss for Purdue to the Tigers. And a lot of factors do play into that, but I think the Tigers are going to improve a little bit from last season. And I think when it comes down to looking at the quarterbacks, Drew Lock is the better quarterback right now. And then Michigan at home, a team that I do expect to take a little bit of a step down from their 10-win total last season. They didn't end the way they wanted it to when they lost to Ohio State and then Florida State in the Orange Bowl. But I think even those games at home for Purdue, I don't think they have enough talent there to defeat the Wolverines in this one. This would be a major win for Jeff Brom in his first game at Purdue, or in his first conference game at Purdue. This would be huge if you could upset Michigan, but I just don't see that happening. So they're starting off the season 1-3, and it's not looking good. They get a bye week, and they play Minnesota. Another first-year head coach in the Big Ten in P.J. Fleck. So Jeff Brom versus P.J. Fleck. So this could be a fun one to watch. If you look at it, I feel that offensively, Purdue is better. But team-wise, just putting it all together, I feel that Minnesota's the better team. And as I said earlier in my Minnesota video, P.J. Fleck inherited a better program, success-wise, player-wise. Just overall, he inherited a better program than Jeff Brom did. He's going to have to do a lot of rebuilding. P.J. Fleck will not. And right now, I'm going to give Purdue the loss here. And then a very tough game at Wisconsin. Obviously, the team that I think is the favorite in the Big Ten West. With it being on the road and Wisconsin being a very dangerous team, I have them pegged as a potential playoff contender. I don't think they're going to be able to go on the road and defeat the Badgers. And then at Rutgers, the team, probably one of the worst teams, if not the worst team in the Big Ten East. They've really struggled lately. Chris Ash is in his second year as head coach there, so he has a little bit more experience than Jeff Brom does in this conference. And right now, with it being on the road and Rutgers struggling, both teams are going to need to stop the bleeding and get a Big Ten conference win. And right now, I'm giving that to Rutgers. I don't see Purdue going on the road and upsetting them. And like I said, though, a lot of this success this season will rely on how well David Blow plays at quarterback. And I think he is one of the more underrated quarterbacks in this conference. But how well will he play, and can he cut back on those turnovers? We'll just have to wait and see. Then they get Nebraska and Illinois at home. Nebraska, middle-of-the-pack team this season, if you ask me. Still very competitive, though. Could spring a few upsets. And as of right now, I'm projecting another loss for Purdue to Nebraska. I think even though they've only returned 10 starters, I just don't really think Purdue's going to be able to spring this upset. That would be an upset. And Nebraska also dealing with a new quarterback situation, more of a pocket passer. And if they can avoid some injuries, they could be in for a good season. I think Purdue will finally stop the bleeding against Illinois. I feel like Purdue and Illinois are the equivalent of Maryland and Rutgers in the East. Usually two of the teams that are bottom of the conference. And right now, this game will pretty much determine, I think, who finishes last in this Big Ten West division. And right now, I'm going to give them the win over Illinois. I think Purdue in a lot of these games could be in for some close losses. I can see it being close to Louisville. I can see it being close to maybe Missouri, Minnesota even, Rutgers. So they will probably just be a few plays away from really determining if a win's going to be a loss or a loss is going to be a win. But right now, I'm going to give them the win over Illinois. I feel that Purdue is definitely more talented than Illinois right now, so I'm going to give them that, and that'll stop their 4-game losing streak after the bye week. Now, back-to-back road games against very tough teams in Northwestern and Iowa. Northwestern, a team who I think will surprise a lot of people in this West Division. Clayton Thorson and Justin Jackson at running back are going to be too much for Purdue. And then Iowa, another very tough place to play, as you've seen and heard me talk about in my videos. I really do like when teams have to go play to Iowa, because it's not necessarily guaranteeing Iowa a victory, but we know it's tough, and I don't think Purdue's going to have enough to go on the road and defeat the Hawkeyes. And then Indiana, a team that I'm also very excited to watch this season between Richard Legault at quarterback, Nick Westbrook at wide receiver, a very experienced defense. They could surprise a lot of people. And Purdue, even though it's the season finale at home, they have nothing to play for except for bragging rights and pride. But right now, I'm not going to give them the win over the Hoosiers. They're going to have a lot more to play for at this point. And I'm going to give Purdue, unfortunately, a 2-10 record. Now, before I get some hate in the comments, this is not one of my predictions I feel most confident about. The schedule is brutal, and I don't think Purdue's going to be able to go on the road and upset some of these teams like Wisconsin, Northwestern, Iowa. But I'm not extremely confident on this one as I have been on some other teams. I could see them getting from anywhere between 2 to 4 wins, and if they're lucky, 5. I don't think they're going to make a bowl game this season, but I could see them doing a lot better than 2 wins. And that is a step down from the 3-9 record they had last season. But a lot of factors are pointing down, in my opinion, with that first-year head coach here at Purdue, and then a little uncertainty on the offensive side of the ball besides their quarterback. So we'll just have to wait and see how the Boilermakers do. But I could see them, hear me out, could see them getting anywhere between 2 to 5 wins. I think best case scenario for them will be 4, but right now I'm going to keep it at 2. So please continue to like, comment, subscribe. We're almost done with our Big Ten football predictions, so please continue to stay tuned on that, and please continue to share our videos, and we'll see you next time on The Gridiron Expert.